University of Connecticut commencement celebration for the Speech Language Pathology program. My name is Kathy Sinkowski, and I'm the department head for Speech Language and Hearing Sciences. Before we begin with today's events, I would like to introduce the faculty who have played such a vital role in the professional education and training of today's graduates. Faculty, if you wouldn't mind rising. Dr. Carl Coelho. Ms. Nicole Gallagher. Dr. Adrian Garcia Sierra. Ms. Lucinda Soares Gonzalez. Dr. Bernard Gorella. Ms. Jean McCarthy. Dr. Nancy McMahon. Dr. Emily Myers. Dr. Rachel Theodore. Ms. Casey Whitkey. I'd also like to acknowledge some of our faculty who are not able to be with us today. Dr. Avi Mishra. Dr. Joe Mazeko. And Dr. Patty Spalding. Thank you. Let's continue. I would like to start first by congratulating our graduating students. Today, you can call yourself speech language pathologist. Honor very well deserved. And students, I would ask that you would please rise and turn and congratulate your family and friends. We all know that the success of a graduate student depends on support from your family and friends who are there. So today, on this lovely rainy day, what can I say? It's May, it's Connecticut, right? Today on this lovely day, I see before me students, not students anymore, but professionals whom I now welcome as colleagues. It has been a great experience for us as a faculty watching you and helping you to grow, and you should be proud of all that you have accomplished. You probably thought this day was never going to come. Do you remember the first time that you applied to graduate school? The anxiety of waiting to hear from those 10 or 15 or 20 schools that you applied to? And then the excitement of receiving the letter of acceptance from Uconn. You should be proud that you earned a place in a highly competitive graduate program. Each year, we have, our admissions committee has a very difficult task deciding who to admit to our program. We have more students than our classrooms and clinics can accommodate. So the faculty is very selective. We set our expectations high, and we only admit those students who we think are up to the rigors of the program. And you have all met that challenge with distinction. You should be proud of all your hard work, and I'm sure it was hard work. Our graduate programs are somewhat unique. Unlike programs in chemistry or biology or English, the speech language pathology program is a professional degree program. That means that our program includes not only a substantial amount of coursework, but also for you guys, more than 400 supervised clinical clock hours. You put in a lot of effort into this program. You acquired experiences in our clinic, but also in a variety of off-campus settings, hospitals, clinics, and schools. The feedback that we receive from all of our off-campus sites is most positive. They all tell us that our students are extremely knowledgeable and well prepared. Graduates, you should be proud of the profession that you have chosen because you can make a real difference in the lives of your patients and with their families. You have entered a meaningful and dynamic field. Our professions are among the top-rated occupations in the nation, and there are employment opportunities in virtually all areas of the field, whether or not you choose to work with children or adults, whether you decide to work in a clinical setting or maybe even an academic location. And all projections indicate that this trend is not going to change for the foreseeable future. My new colleagues, I hope you realize that your education does not stop here. As speech-language pathologists, you need to embrace a commitment to lifelong learning. As part of this program, you learned a lot about evidence-based practice, right? You need to continue to read your professional journals, attend conferences, volunteer with your professional organizations, get involved with research. Take what you've learned here at Uconn into your clinical practice. You are the future of speech-language pathology, and you will set the standard for the next generation of students that come up behind you. Finally, be proud. You're entering a great field. It's challenging, it's motivating, and it's fulfilling. But keep in mind that you will also have to have some balance in your life. Try and find joy and passion in all that you do. On behalf of the entire faculty, we wish you all the best, and congratulations again. I'd like to call Ms. Shanley Walker to the stage to deliver the graduating student address.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shanley Walker, and I'm very humbled and honored to be standing before you to represent this incredible group of women. I'll do my best to keep it short, but as you know, we've worked really hard, and therefore I will not be cutting any corners. First, I'd like to start by thanking everyone's family, friends, and significant others who are here today. While I'm sure you're here to confirm that it is in fact finally over, and that an income is in our near future, we really do appreciate it. This program was intense and at times stressful, so thank you for sticking by our sides and for answering our phone calls late at night, even when you want to pretend you're already asleep. Thank you for being there to offer us your words of wisdom, for reassuring us that we would in fact make it here, and even for those times when you just nodded during a mini freakout session because that was your safest response at the time. Your never-ending love and support made today possible, so we thank you and we owe you. On behalf of the cohort, I would now like to thank our incredible faculty. To the academic faculty, thank you for sharing your expertise and wisdom with us and for sprinkling in a few stories along the way. You provided us with an unbelievable foundation that we will forever be thankful for and will continue to grow upon. Your dedication and passion for this field is inspiring and made coming to class enjoyable, even if it was at 8 a.m. And while at times it felt impossible, thank you for teaching us that it isn't about the grade you receive, but about the knowledge you gain and your ability to apply it. Who are we kidding? Getting that A still felt pretty good. And to the clinical supervisors, thank you for not giving up on 26 type A females. It's certainly no easy task. Thank you for believing in us and building our confidence every step of the way. You welcomed our individuality and creativity rather than trying to fit into some predetermined mold. And for that, we thank you. You've each provided us with role models for whom to strive to one day become. We are truly fortunate to have been able to grow under your watchful supervision, and now to be able to call you fellow colleagues. But we must apologize for any increased coffee or gray hair we may have caused along the way. And to Sierra, our program coordinator, you are equally as deserving of a thank you as anyone else in this room. The woman behind it all, thank you for coordinating everything from paperwork to department social gatherings to answering our never-ending emails. But most importantly, thank you for suffering through the actual blood, sweat, and tears it took for us all to become compliant on You rock. And now, from lesson plans to POCs to downloading every free material teacher has to offer, to losing our sanity during the countless hours spent in that windowless grad room, to reading spectrograms and writing research papers, to trying to figure out whether Mr. Yellow was presenting with a Warnicki's or conduction aphasia, to our mini acting career in demonstrating fluency treatment approaches, to phonological processes and having more snow days than dysphagia classes, to the infamous AAC eval flowchart, and to our amazing ability in memorizing that a made-up creature called a snurk walks on its flaxies faster than our ability to memorize developmental norms. To the weird excitement only us speechies would get when we saw fellow classmates vocal folds. To diagnostic rotations and to countless Google Doc groups, to personal reflections and to article reviews, to standardized test measures and to now being able to do APA formatting in our sleep. To prevention projects, which only taught us that our poster making skills have yet to improve since the 3rd grade. To mumbling in class so frequently that our professors began to question if they were developing a hearing loss. To that day in Dr. Quello's class where he was explaining task analysis and the actual complexity that it takes to complete daily tasks such as showering, which none of us admitted doing that day. Sorry, Dr. Quello. To the pure joy it felt when your placement allowed you to wear scrubs, and to the never-ending questions posted in our group meet just to be answered by an unrelated question. To quickly realizing you couldn't leave your house without an overstuffed lunchbox. To team-based learning groups which took on a new form outside the clinic this week. To dying laptops into endless coffee. To flat tires into parking tickets. Shout out to Dr. Spalding for helping us get through those. To late nights and even later nights for you night owls who know who you are. To Sodergren household gatherings. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Sodergren, for that home. It was beautiful. To that questionable day when we all willingly purchased something called a beaver. To the dreaded ding on our laptops at 11 a.m. when the Daily Digest emails had arrived. To bobblehead nods during our clinical projects, and for that satisfying feeling when you snagged the last available spot in Wylot. To the terror you felt when it came your turn to complete the wasabi ball challenge. To banging on the doors of Chuck's just to let us in so we could eat them out of free chips. To still not fully knowing which form's the true cassiform. And to that recent discovery of severe global aphasia. Ladies, we've just about been through it all here. And while it is quite easy to look back at these past 2 years and remember them as being the most stressful, I hope you choose to look back and remember them for how beautiful they really were. 26 strangers became true friends in what feels like overnight. I could not have been more blessed to have each and every single one of you in this cohort. We often heard about how large your cohort was, but if you asked me, it was a perfect number. You each possessed such a unique and special light that shined brightly and was required in order to make this cohort feel complete. We picked each other up during the tough times and we celebrated together during the good ones. I wish each one of you the absolute best in your future endeavors and a life full of happiness and success. I know deep in my heart that you will all do incredible things, not only as a speech-language pathologist, but as an individual in this world. And while we most likely will have to continue to define what speech-language pathology is, I have no doubt that you will change the lives of everyone you interact with as quickly as you've changed mine. I encourage you each to continue to be strong, beautiful, and intelligent women I've grown to love over these past 2 years, and to never make yourself small for anyone or anything. Know that a friend is only a call or message away, because I refuse to let that group message die. But also know that you already possess what it takes to conquer anything that's in your way. We have the ability to take someone at any stage in their life and help them regain something they've lost, to make progress towards something they've never had, or to give them the tools to function at a new best. Know that our job does not only impact our clients' lives, but also the lives of their loved ones. Let you not forget the importance of our role, and may you do so with pride and with grace. May you be the advocate your client needs, the reassurance and trust their caregiver needs, and the best clinician you can possibly be. I look forward to seeing how each of you continue to succeed and how you change this world for the better. Congratulations, ladies. I'm so proud of you all.
we came up with the Distinguished Alumnus Award, and it is bestowed on an alumnus through his or her accomplishments who has made a significant contribution to fields of speech, language, and hearing sciences, and who has also had a positive effect on individuals with communication disorders. I would like to invite Dr. Coelho to come up at this stage to present the award.
Sandra Kavanaugh Holly received her bachelor's and master's degree at George Washington University and her PhD at Uconn, all in communication disorders. Following that, her entire career was spent in Connecticut, first as a speech-language pathologist, excuse me, speech-language pathologist at the Fairfield Rehabilitation Center in Bridgeport, then as a clinical supervisor in the speech and hearing clinic at Southern Connecticut State. Upon completion of her PhD, she began a 30-year academic career, also at Southern Connecticut State. During that period, Dr. Holly was a principal investigator on several Department of Education training grants targeting increasing diversity among graduate students in communication disorders programs throughout the country. She also served as chair of the Communication Disorders Department at Southern and retired as Dean of Graduate Studies at the university. Throughout her career, Dr. Holly received many awards from the American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association, including fellowship and honors of the association. Most importantly, in 1988, Dr. Holly was elected president of the association, becoming the first African American to receive or to hold that title. As I was compiling information on Dr. Holly's career, I came across some comments that she had made to a group of graduate students a number of years ago. She said, "When I was a graduate student, I had a professor who advised all students upon graduation that they should not only assume full-time employment, but that they should become active in their professional associations. The message communicated to us was that we should become effective agents of change and advocates for the advancement of the profession by working within the system. This translated to mean that we should, number one, vote in elections. Number two, volunteer for service on committees and boards. Number three, communicate with our legislators in terms of the provision of quality services to persons with communication disorders. And finally, to serve as role models for future professionals in this field." I believe that if Dr. Holly was here today with us, she would tell you that that's still pretty good advice for new grads. We're very proud to recognize Dr. Sandra Kavanaugh Holly as Distinguished Alumnus of the Speech, Language, and Hearing Sciences Department at Uconn.
Our next award is a student award. In 2010, the department initiated an Outstanding Student Award. The award goes to students who have distinguished themselves throughout their time in the program, in the classroom, in the clinic, and by serving as a role model to their fellow classmates. At this point, I would like to invite Dr. Bernard Garella to the stage to present the Susan Bartlett Outstanding Speech Language Pathology Graduate Student Award.
So this is the award that everybody's waiting for, right? One of you has been nominated by the faculty. So let me tell you a little bit about Susan Bartlett. Susan Bartlett received her master's degree from Uconn in speech language pathology. After working for a year in East Hartford Public Schools, she returned to Uconn to work in our speech and hearing clinic as a clinical supervisor. She continued in the role of supervisor until 1997, when she served as interim clinic director, and from 1999 to 2009 as director of the Uconn Speech and Hearing Clinic. Susan retired after working at Uconn for over 34 years. During her time in our clinic, Susan was a consummate professional, a caring clinician, a supportive colleague, and an effective administrator and a strong advocate for the speech and hearing clinic within the university. However, Susan's true passion was clinical education. She set high standards for all students and was known as a stickler for detail. The hundreds of students who graduated from Uconn's SLP program during her years in the department are now better professionals because of their interactions with Susan. This year, the recipient of the Susan Bartlett Outstanding Speech Language Pathology Graduate Student Award goes to Molly Traub.
Now the fun part. The faculty would like to recognize each individual who is graduating today. Dr. Grohl, did you mind? I did gently say stay, but. You are a big box. All the way to the end. Mackenzie Baker. Karen Basilicus. Renee Cater. Lauren Como. Sarah Ann Cooper. Gianna Duncan. Sharuk El Sharafi.
I love you!
Catherine Filer. Samantha Formica. Gabrielle Giangreco. Margaret Hislop. Rebecca Maceda. Catherine Moody. Elizabeth O'Brien. Andrea Pescarello. Monica Fonsa. Brianna Schlemmer. Shannon Sodergren. Olivia Stipples. Brianna Sussman. Taylor Parka. Anna Thomas. Mary Trout. Shanley Walker. And Rachel Weiberg. This actually brings us to a close of our ceremony this afternoon. We want to thank everybody for coming to join us in the celebration. But before we leave, I'd like to ask the graduates and their guests, actually, if the students are standing there, that's not going to work. Would you like to take a picture now? Let's just do it. I went off script. Okay, so we are going to have all the graduates come on stage, and we'll give everybody an opportunity to take a picture of everybody together.